Good morning, friends. Again, I take this opportunity to welcome you all for our next lecture on literature. Friends, in the last lecture, we discussed what literature is. We discussed some of the important elements, some of the important characteristics of literature. As I told you earlier, as the students of literature, it is very important and mandatory for all of us to understand the job, the role played by literature in the society. In the last lecture, we discussed some of the important characteristics of literature like universality, like the element of emotions, the element of imagination, the element of moral value, and some of the other things. In today's lecture, we want to discuss literature as an expression of personality. How life is expressed in literature. Friends, we discussed in one of our previous lectures that every true literature is the expression of life and society. True literature is the mirror to life and society. True literature gives the exact picture of what we see in our own lives and in our own society, in our own culture. In fact, some of the critics go to the extent of saying that if you want to understand the life of Christopher Marlowe, a 16th century playwright, then better you try to understand the dramas, the tragedies written by Christopher Marlowe. You will understand what kind of a Marlowe was. If you want to understand the life of William Shakespeare, you read some of the important plays, some of the important tragedies and comedies written by William Shakespeare. Why? Because their literature expresses their own life. Their literature expresses their own life experiences. If you want to understand a culture, say for example an Indian culture, you read Indian literature and you will get some basic idea about what this Indian culture is. If you want to understand the temperament, if you want to understand the temperament of a Britisher, then better you understand, try to study the literature written by the British people. So in short, what I wanted to tell you is that every true literature reflects the life of the author, or every true literature reflects the life as seen and understood by the author. Or in other words, every true literature reflects the society from the point of view of the author. How the author looks at one particular society, how the author looks at one particular culture. So, studying literature makes us aware about different cultures, different societies. Why? Because literature expresses different cultures, different societies. Now the question is, how does literature take birth? From where does literature come out? And the answer is, literature takes birth from the brain, from the fertile brain of the author. You can say that literature is the product of the author's mind. You can say that literature comes out from the thoughts, from the heart of the author. So, now the thing is clear, the idea is clear that literature is the reflection of life, fine, but at the same time literature reflects life as seen by the author, as observed by the writer, and literature is the product of the fertile brain of the author. And that is the reason why we say that literature is actually the expression of personality. I repeat it again, literature is the expression of personality. Now the question is expression of personality means whose personality? And the answer is, literature expresses the personality of the author, personality of the writer, or in other words, you can say that literature is actually life seen through the temperament of the author. Life seen through the temperament of the author. You can see on the screen here that W.H. Hudson's book, An Introduction to the Study of Literature, in that book, in the first chapter, second part of the first chapter, there is a title called Some Ways of Studying Literature. Here, Hudson deals with literature as an expression of personality. He starts with much discussed definition of literature by Matthew Arnold. Now, Matthew Arnold is a Victorian critic. He was living in England during 19th century. And Matthew Arnold has given a very easy to understand definition of literature, that literature is the criticism of life. Literature is the criticism of life. That means what? Criticism means commentary, comments. So, if somebody asks you what literature is, then in short you can say that literature is nothing but the author's commentary on life. How the author looks at life. He presents his own ideas. So, literature is nothing but the author's comments on life. And that is why Matthew Arnold said that literature is the criticism of life. Literature is also a kind of interpretation of life. Whose interpretation? The author's interpretation, the writer's interpretation. The writer interprets the life in his own ways and gives his own commentary over his observations. Now, In France, there is a French epigram. What is the epigram? The epigram says that art is life seen through a temperament. Art is life seen through a temperament. Temperament means the nature. Whose nature? Whose temperament? It is the author's temperament. It is the writer's temperament. So, what is art? What is literature? Literature is life seen through the eyes of the author, through the temperament of the author. It means that art is an expression of life through the temperament of the writer, and literature is what? Literature gives reflection to this temperament. Literature mirrors this author's temperament. What kind of a man was George Bernard Shaw? If you want to understand the biography of George Bernard Shaw, you read his comedies. What kind of a man was Charles Lamb? A great essayist. If you want to understand his life, you better try to study his essays. Why? Because his essays are the reflection of Charles Lamb's temperament. What kind of a man was Mahatma Gandhi? If you want to understand this, you read his literature, that he was a man of truth and non-violence. Why? Because his ideas, his temperament is reflected in his works. I hope you are getting the point now. The mirror the writer holds to the world is actually the mirror of his own personality and individuality. So you can say that literature reflects the individual personality of the writer, of the author. And in this way, it is necessary to study literature as an expression of life. Now, Hudson, in his book, An Introduction to the Study of Literature, he says that a great book is born out of the brain and heart of the author. He puts himself in his pages, they partake of his life and are instinct with his individuality. This quotation is there on the screen also. You can read it again and try to understand this particular quotation, this particular idea presented by William Henry Hudson. I repeat it again. Hudson says that a great book is born out of the brain and heart of the author. Now this is clear, I think easy to understand, that a great book comes out from the brain of the author, because the book reflects or presents the ideas of the author. A great book is born out of the heart of the author. Why? Because the book or literature reflects or presents or expresses the emotions of the author. I hope you understand this particular first phrase of this line, W.H. Hudson's quotation. A great book is born of brain and heart of the author. Next, he says that he has put himself in his own pages. His literature is nothing but the reflection of his own life. He puts himself in his own literature. And next he says that they partake of his life. The characters whom you see in his literature, in one particular author's literature, these characters are playing the role actually played by the author himself in his real life, and are instinct with his individuality. So the characters presented in his literature, the ideas presented in his literature, the thoughts presented or expressed in his literature, the emotions which we find in his literature, they are instinct with his individuality. You cannot separate them from the individual personality of the author. So the point is that the ideas, the emotions, the thoughts which are presented by the author in his work of art, no matter whether it is a play or a novel or a short story or a poem, no matter whatever it is, you cannot separate them from the individual personality of the author. This is what W.H. Hudson wants to say in these lines. So, in short, you can say that it is very important for us to know the author in order to understand the work of art. Actually, the author's biography means the knowledge about the author's life on the one hand, on the other hand, the author's work. Both are separate things, but in a way both are inseparable things, because the author's life is what his literature is, and the author's literature is what his life is. Both are complementary to each other. You cannot separate them. So, if you want to understand the life of the author, you try to study the author's work, or vice versa. If you want to understand the work of the author, you first try to understand the life of the author. We cannot understand any piece of literature unless we understand and know it first. Hudson suggests us to establish a personal contact with the author, as personal experience is the basis of all real literature. Hudson also remembers famous line given by Milton. John Milton, you must be knowing John Milton, because when you were studying in first semester, you studied one of the lyrics written by John Milton, one sonnet written by John Milton on his blindness. John Milton, living during 17th century. John Milton has said that a good book is the precious lifeblood of a master spirit, embalmed and treasured up on the purpose of life beyond. Life beyond life. So, according to Milton, a good book is the precious lifeblood of a master spirit. A great work of art, according to John Milton, expresses the lifeblood of the author. It gives us the real experience of the author, which the author himself experienced in his personal life. And if you see, you take any author, any poet, like Christopher Marlowe's tragedies, you find the characters of Marlowe as highly ambitious characters. Why? Because Marlowe himself was an ambitious man. So his personality is expressed in his characters. If you read some of the novels by Charles Dickens, you find Dickens' own experiences expressed, presented in his novels. So, lifeblood of the author is reflected in his works. I hope you understand this. Now, if you want to judge a great work of art, you must distinguish between what Carlyle calls genuine voices and mere echoes. He means to say that in great books, the writers speak themselves, whereas in an ordinary book, they speak on the reports of others. So, like see, if you want to take a judgment on any work of art, there can be two types of works of arts, like good books and those which are not good books. Now, how to distinguish between great work of art and an ordinary work of art? If you want to examine this, then Carlyle believes that Carlyle is also a thinker, a critic. He says that there are two things: genuine voices expressed in the works of art and mere echoes expressed in the works of art. I hope you understand between echo, these two words, echo and voice. Genuine voice. Genuine voice is what? Genuine voice is something which is original. And echo is what? Echo is simply a reflection of the original voice. So, as a critique, we must try to understand, we must try to examine whether there is a genuine voice of the writer in this particular work of art, or simply or mere echo presented in the work of art. Sometimes, some writers, they express the views of others in their work of art, which is not called genuine literature. And some other writers, they express their genuine ideas, genuine emotions, real emotions in their works of arts. They are known as genuine work of art. They are known as true literature, true pieces of literature. We must distinguish essential difference between the literature which draws its life directly from personality and experience, and that which draws its life mainly at second hand from contact with the personality and experience of others. Thus, the second type of literature is you can say smell of literature, not literature, it is called a smell of literature, which is not true literature. But as the students of literature, the works of the fullest of original vitality are chief concern for ourselves. Hudson says that there should be sincerity, originality, the element of genuineness presented must be, all these three things must be there in true literature. What these three things are? Number one, sincerity. Number two, originality. And number three, genuineness of expression of life. वैसे तो कोई भी लिख सकता है, लाइक मैं भी कुछ कविताएं लिख देता हूँ, लेकिन ज़्यादातर कविताएं जो मैं लिखता हूँ, जो आम आदमी लिखता है, वो ज़्यादातर कॉपी, it is copied from other poets. The ideas are copied sometimes, language is sometimes copied, some terminology is copied sometimes, which is not called genuine literature. Genuine literature वह है जिसमें सिंसियरिटी है, ओरिजिनलिटी है, genuineness है, genuineness of expression of life. These three things are very important as far as true literature or genuine literature is concerned. Hudson says that without sincerity, no vital work in literature is possible. originality of experience makes literature far more accomplished art. Which art is called complete art? Which art is called accomplished art? Then the answer is that original experiences presented, original ideas presented in literature makes it an accomplished art, makes it a complete true art. In this way, Hudson suggests us to penetrate as deeply as we can into the personal life of the author. So, if you want to understand the life of the author, you have to penetrate into the mind of the author. Try to understand the mind of the author, the heart of the author, the personality of the author. Then it will be easier for you to understand the works of the author. Okay, so this is one last thing which is mentioned here on the screen also, that we should also observe how the world of experience impressed the writer and how it is interpreted through his personality. While going through a book, we become familiar with the character, the outlook, the strength, the weakness and the accent of the writer's personality. So friends, at the end of this lecture, what I want to say is that, when we are the students of literature, if you want to understand a work of art, if you want to understand a drama, a novel or poetry, then the first job of the writer, the first job of the reader, according to W.H. Hudson, is to understand the life of the author. Why? Because literature is the product of the author's brain, author's personality. Okay, this is one thing. Now literature is what? Literature is the criticism of life, as literature is the life seen by the author, and that life is presented by the author in his work of art. When you are reading that work of art, you try to read that life which is seen by the author in his own, through his own mind, through his own understanding. But as the student of literature, what we should do is that first you try to understand the life and personality of the author, number one. Number two, you go to the literature written by the author and try to understand life as presented by the author from his point of view. Try to understand that life from the author's point of view. And then third, you try to understand that life which is presented in literature from your own point of view. In this way, you will get a broader idea. You will get a larger idea about what life is. This makes you a strong human being, because a good student of literature understands life in a better manner, in a better way than anybody else. So, in short, at last I want to say that literature gives you an opportunity to understand life from your own point of view, to understand the life from the writer's point of view. Literature, why? Because literature reflects the life of the author. Literature presents the personality of the writer. Literature expresses the ideas, the thoughts, the emotions of the author. I hope this is clear to you. If you still have any doubts and queries and questions, you feel free to contact me. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe, take exercise regularly at home. Thank you.